Okay, Matt Boss, Nordstrom OT, Macy's out tomorrow AM. Let's talk Nordstrom first. What are we expecting?
Yeah, look, Scott, I think what you're seeing right now from the retail space is the tale of two halves. In fact, I remember you and I talking about this to close the year and actually calling for this tale of two halves for the group. I think that's exactly what you're going to get from Nordstrom. The two themes that we're hearing in our work is, number one, the aspirational consumer. In fact, Capri this morning talked about it. That consumer is slowing. The growth on a year-over-year basis has absolutely moderated. That consumer, in my opinion, is focused on experience and leisure. We're seeing that in our leisure coverage in cruise lines with bookings out through the middle of 24. And I think the other theme that you're going to hear about on both Nordstrom and Macy's tomorrow is the value-focused consumer. That lower income consumer is focused on necessities, and that consumer is holding back on discretionary purchases.
I mean, Capri specifically mentioned expectations of slowing sales from department stores.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the consumer is being very discerning. And I think what you really have happening, overall, the consumer picture, I think, is resilient. When you look at it on a 4-year basis to normalize for year over year, meaning 1 year, when you look at that picture, there's no question that growth in the consumer space is slowing. And that's because, look, you've pulled government assistance, $25 billion year over year. The savings rate is also normalizing. So you have a year over year normalizing consumer, but you look at the growth from 2 years ago and you smooth out that curve. The consumer, in my opinion, multi-year is fine, but on a year over year basis, we're in a vacuum right now where the growth is slowing. And to your point, you are absolutely seeing a shift more towards experiential and leisure in that category that we cover, and away from department stores and mall-based specialty.
Man, you got a tough market in terms of retail to navigate and choosing winners versus losers. Who's the best bet right now?
Value, convenience. So I would stick with best in class, which would be a TJ Maxx for us. And then I would look at best in class brands. So Lululemon has the growth. And if anything, I think the pandemic has created an inflection in terms of casualization. I also like self-help on Nike. Tapestry in the handbags and accessories space, I think, has the global diversification. So you need self-help and you need things outside of North America macro on a 1-year basis. Those are the things I'd be buying today for the opportunity as we move into 24 and you start to see this consumer picture on a year over year and some of these shifts normalize. Because like I said, the underlying picture for me on the consumer is actually more resilient than people believe.
All right, good stuff.